Hello, my friend. Welcome to Live Chat. I am excited to be here with you today, as I always am. I love talking about the beauty community and the beauty space and the good old days. So, this topic fits right in. I want to talk about brand trips today and how those have changed over the years and why what we used to think of as a brand trip and what those used to be will probably never happen again. If they do happen again, I predict that it may be about 5 years maybe before they start coming back the way they were, and it's going to be complete. No matter what, it's going to be completely different. And I have some theories as to why the traditional brand trip that we've thought of over the years is dead. And the pictures I put up in the thumbnail were from brand trips from big brands, and we'll talk about why they used to do them and how things have changed in our space, where it may not just be logical to do them anymore. But before we do, I do want to quickly say hello to the people that are here live in the collective brain of makeup awesomeness. They are going to be weighing in their thoughts, which is what makes live chat so special, that it isn't just about my voice, it's about their voice as well. It's also about your voice if you're watching on the replay. And you're going to leave your thoughts down in the comments down below of what you think, and feel free to have conversations with each other down there about the topics. One thing I just want to remind you, if you pop in live a little bit late, check and make sure that you're fast forwarded to the most current point if you want to participate in the current conversation. Because one thing I've noticed through live chat is that some people are coming in and they think they're at the start of the chat and they're commenting on what happened maybe 20 or 30 minutes ago. And then when I read it, it doesn't make sense, which is fine. If that's the way you want to participate, it's totally fine. But if you want to participate in what we're talking about at this moment, make sure your scrub bar is scrubbed all the way to the most current moment if you're joining live but a few minutes late. So that being said, hello to Teresa and the rest of the moderators. Thank you so much for being here, Steph and Flory and Audra. I appreciate you. And of course, my husband, John, sitting over there. I almost always forget him. I don't know why, even though he's right freaking there. Thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your week every week to come to live chat and make sure we have a nice, peaceful place to hang out. I appreciate you all oh so very much. Thank you so much. Alicia, so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Tish, hello to you. Thank you for being here. Brad, hello to you. Happy live chat day to you as well. Leslie from Thriving and Beyond, happy What's Up in Makeup Day. I hope you all enjoyed the show today. I had a lot of fun making it. The past few weeks have been a little bit slower as far as like the more exciting news, and I feel like we're warming up to having some more like juicy top news stories. So if you haven't watched What's Up in Makeup yet, I definitely recommend it. It's a great show. That went live at 9:15 this morning. It's currently 10:04 my time, Eastern time in the US. Catherine, hello. Excited to have you here. Hi, Amy. So good to see you, honey. Hello to you and Ginger and Missao. Hopefully I did okay with that. Good afternoon from Spain. I hope that you are doing well. It is very, very hot here in our part of the US, so hopefully it's not as hot there in Spain. I've heard Europe has been getting hit overall with lots of heat, just like we are. So hopefully you're doing all right. And Roya, so good to see you. Happy Sunday. And then True Wants, hello. True Wants is going to go finish watching What's Up in Makeup. Hopefully has made their way back at this point. And then, honey, I have my coffee, taking my morning meds, and ready to talk makeup. Make sure you take care of yourselves, everyone. Self-care is important, and I think that's a fantastic message. Thank you for sharing that, honey. I think sometimes we forget, we get so busy. Sometimes doing just work or taking care of family, it's great to remind ourselves that we need to take care of ourselves as well. And then just very quickly, hello to Tracy and Jess and Consuelo and Lana, and of course, Flory. Hello. So good to see you all. If I did not say good morning to you or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you. I feel like Jim Carrey in, what was that movie when he was The Truman Show? And he was like, good morning, was it good afternoon, good evening, and good night? It's kind of similar, live on camera. At least I'm conscious of being live on camera. If you haven't seen that movie, it's very interesting movie. Anyway. So let's talk about brand trips. So if you have not been in the space for a while, just a quick summary of what brand trips used to be. And this, they really, from my perspective, they started really leaning into brand trips around 2015, 2016. They really hit a peak in 2018, started to kind of taper off, it seemed, in 2019, and the 2020 pandemic just killed all the brand trips, which I think really put a stop to the current thought of what a brand trip is and how they're handled. So what they would do is they would invite the most popular beauty influencers across all platforms, usually focused on YouTube, but also on Instagram. And they would invite them for an all expenses paid trip, usually to a tropical place. And they would pay for everything. They would pay for the hotel. They would pay for the food. They would pay for the activities. They'd have, dancing and, activities and things like that. And it was this big, huge deal. And the benefit for the brand, and well, before I get into the benefits for the brand, I think it's really important to note that this is not exclusive to the beauty space. There are lots of brands all over the place that do their version of brand trips. It's part of their marketing budget that a lot of brands build in. And it's not just the beauty space. If you knew the money that pharmaceutical companies put into, if I knew, because I don't even know, if we were aware, let's just rephrase the amount of money that pharmaceutical companies put into, giving perks to people that sell pharmaceuticals, we would probably all be blown away from the information I've heard from people that have more knowledge than I do. So my point is it's not exclusive to the beauty space, giving gifts and trips and things to people that could also sell your product. So that is the motivation for a brand trip, is that you want to, well, there's a couple motivations. One is it's usually to promote some kind of product launch. So if I'm launching the one that people really ripped apart was the Benefit mascara. I think was it Benefit? Nikki Tutorials did a documentary where she talked about a brand trip that she went to. I'm pretty sure it was a Benefit mascara. Now I can't remember. See, I'm talking about it off the cuff. But there was a mascara, and it was like space themed, right? It wasn't James Charles part of the marketing of it. Let me scroll down because I feel like I want to know like what I'm talking about because I can't remember what it was. But I remember Nikki Tutorials talking about it, and it was like this big brand trip, and they hyped it up, and all it was a mascara, and everybody was like, and then they started just handing out the mascara to people, and everybody's like, it's just a mascara. That's what we're here for, is a mascara. So, but usually it was a bigger product launch, they would do, big collections and things like that. And then they would invite all these influencers. So what the brand got out of it was they got a lot of free promotion. So a lot of times from what I understand from people that have gone on lots of brand trips is that they don't typically give you any money. Like you don't get money along with the trip overall, from what I've heard. I don't know everybody, but you just get the trip, but it's kind of like implied that you'll post about it, as kind of a thank you for the vacation. So you would get on the biggest platforms, on YouTube, on Instagram, sometimes crossing platforms, you would get all of this promotion. Along with that, these people are doing all of your ad work for you. So if you have, these huge influencers that are taking these beautiful photos, they're taking the photos, they're editing the photos, they're posting the photos, and you can just take those pictures with their permission and post them on the brand social media, which then people are like, oh, so and so says that they really love this product. Maybe I should go check it out. So they're creating all of this content so that the brand doesn't even necessarily have to take more photos, pay photographers, pay models. Like they don't have to do that because the influencers are doing that while they're on the trip. They may be editing while they're there, or they may be sending them to an editor, or editing them when they get home and posting them. But they're getting all of this as part of the exchange. Beyond that, when you make an influencer feel special, when you make anybody feel special, a brand loyalty starts to form. And even if you don't get paid, if a brand has been kind to you, then you're more likely to post about them in the future, even if you're just get it in PR or maybe you go and purchase it. You're getting exponentially more promotion even if you're not paying for it in the future, because you get to know people at brands, you get to know people behind the scenes, and you want to see the company do well. You start getting this feeling for the brand and who they are and what their story is, and you want them to do well. So when they're not giving you a trip, you may post for them, and then they get even more promotion for future products as well. Also, if a product sucks that they come out with, and you have a connection with the brand, maybe the person just quietly won't talk about that product. I know some people have talked about that in the past, where they don't do, this was a while ago, but that they don't do negative reviews because they see that as being disrespectful. If they don't like something, they just don't talk about it. And if you feel a connection to a brand and you want that brand to do well, then you're not going to necessarily talk about the products that aren't as good. You'll just maybe just let them go. And at worst, maybe you'll promote them anyway, even though you know that they're crap. So hopefully not. Hopefully not. But that's just a little bit of my opinion of why brand trips existed. So for now, I do feel like that kind of time of these huge brand trips is over. And I don't think that they have the weight that they once did. And I think one of the reasons why, and then I'll check in with the community, is that I don't feel like influencers have the power that they once did, the huge influencers. I feel like the time of the huge influencer, of the Manny MUAs, the Laura Lees, in the Nikki tutorials, the people that were getting millions and millions and millions of views and really influencing purchases. I feel like, yes, they do still have large platforms. Yes, they do still have influence, but the magnitude of their influences have diminished significantly. And I think a lot of that has to do with audience education. And I think a lot of the people that are watching these large influencers know a little bit about the man behind the curtain, that you've seen The Wizard of Oz. You know what's happening. You know all these things that I'm telling you. So and you may not be as swayed as people once were when they watched this kind of content. You may not be as influenced. So that's just one reason why I feel like that time is just done. You are seeing some of these mega influencers on TikTok with people that just weren't around back when those influencers were huge, when this was a big part of our community. And I do think that there's a new wave coming up, but I don't see it as being quite as powerful as those people were. But I don't know the back end of some of these brands and what they're selling on TikTok and stuff. So at this point, I do want to take a quick second, and not quick second, but I want to hear what you all are saying. Yes, everybody's telling me Bad Gal Bang. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Mahogany Post. Yes, you all are all right. It was Bad Gal Bang, the mascara that I was talking about, where they had the big, huge launch and everybody was like, it's just a mascara. Like, we came all this way and all this hype for a mascara. For reals. That's what's happening here. Aisha says, I worked at a doctor's office because teaching. I worked on a doctor office because teaching. And when I tell you, farm reps paid for everything, office party supplies, food, everything. Yeah, the pharmacy reps. Yes. Yes, that is what they do. Yes, exactly. Yep, benefit, a magnetic one. Yes. Amy says, my husband's friend works in the pharmaceutical business and they pay big and for every expense. Yes, because they're price gouging on the customer end. They're like, I don't know how often you go to the pharmacy. We don't go to the pharmacy that often. I know this is a little bit off topic. We don't go to the pharmacy often. But when we do, I always find it amazing. We use Good RX. If you've never looked at Good RX, you need to look at Good RX. It's amazing. It's a site where you can price comparison of different prices of different prescriptions across pharmacies in your area. But the difference between the prices, where you may pay $12 at this pharmacy and it may be $250 at this pharmacy, like how? Like how? Like, I get, $12.50, maybe up to like $30. Like, I get that. But $250 when you can just go down the road and pay $12.50 for it? For reals? Yes. It just blows my mind. I don't understand how they price that. I don't get it. One day I would love to talk to someone that knows about that stuff to learn more about it, because it blows my mind. A. Harrington, brand trips always seem like they ought to be more private. A company spending money to pay a celebrity and send them on the trip, then showing me felt so out of touch. Yes. And I think a lot of people felt the same way as you did, where it just seemed gratuitous. It seemed like, it was very showy offy. And I think people got tired of it after a while too, because a lot of times they're going to tropical islands. So you could do a beach vacation any time of the year because you're going to a tropical island. So, middle of winter, you're doing a brand trip to, and everybody's on the beach. And also, it's part of our society, at least here and a lot of places in the world, that beautiful women and men, and mostly women, because that's the way that it always seems to be at beauty trips, in bikinis is a grab, not just for men, but for women, for all people. All people seem to be attracted to beautiful women in bikinis. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. It's like a societal thing, you know? And they always invite the most beautiful people. Do you notice that? They always invited like the gorgeous ones, the ones that really like, would be that stereotypical picture of beauty, you know? Heidi, Jackie, Ina, Manny, and Laura have given good insight info into what goes on. Yes, and I appreciate that. I love that. Scroll down just a little bit. Yeah, Siri makes a good point. It's all about FOMO. Luckily, many people seem to be wise to that nowadays, but it's still out there. Yeah, and I think that's part of it too. And also, when you buy the product, you almost get a piece of it, like a piece of that trip. That was a piece of that time. Somebody that that you really like went on this trip to Hawaii or whatever, and then the packaging has pictures of Hawaii, and you get to take a piece of that home with you. That's the way I kind of feel about merch too. When influencers launch merch, I feel like that's kind of what it is that, you're taking a piece of that influencer and you're adding it into your everyday life, somebody that you like. It's the same thing with anything that has a branding on it. When you buy something with Star Wars, a Star Wars t-shirt or Star Wars makeup, it's like, I love that movie and I'm bringing a piece of that movie into a different part of my life. And it feels good, to be reminded of a positive feeling, even if it's just a connection to an influencer or a connection to a brand trip. I can see that being a part of that FOMO almost that Siri's talking about. Yes, Leslie, brand loyalty equals big bucks for brands. Totally. And we have to remember all the time, and I know I always talk about this, but that brands are not people. They don't have emotions. Their whole purpose for existing is to make money. That is their lifeblood. That is the oxygen. That is what keeps the brain and the lungs and the circulatory system of a brand functioning is money. That is their sustenance. Without money, they do not live. And so anything they can do to make money, people will call it a cash grab, but it really is the only way a brand can survive. And when you're talking about a brand that employs lots of people, you're talking about people's lives. And when you're, investing in a brand trip, you have to decide what your return on investment is going to be and whether that will fuel the body of your organization and the lives of the people that work for you so that they can continue to work for you, so you can continue to make money and you can continue improving the lives of the people that work for that company, including the people at the top. So, that's a piece of it too. Absolutely. Kim says it's not implied that they post about the trip. It's in the contract when they accept the trip that there are specific things they have to do and numbers of posts and TikToks and all of that. I do believe that's true for some trips. I know for a fact that that's not true for all trips. You can't assume that for all trips, but that is probably true for some trips. So the thing about contracts is a lot of them, you have clauses in there that you can't discuss what was in the contract. So so we won't know a lot of times for sure whether Kim is right or not, but I would imagine that Kim is right definitely a percentage of the time. I would imagine definitely. You know what I'm saying? But the very few trips that I have been on, there was no clause, there was no contract. So I know that for a fact, that it's not always that way. But Kim, you make a really good point, because I do think that that probably is true sometimes. I have never seen a contract like that because I was never that big of an influencer. My voice is getting gravelly. Oh, by the way, my mug was printed wrong. I forget where I got this from, but I got it and I just didn't have the energy to return it and say, can you like actually print this the way a coffee mug is printed? Like, who prints a mug like that? I don't even know. It says all I need is coffee and mascara and I'm good to go. Jody says, if someone or a company is nice to you, you will be loyal. It's all about spending money, buying loyalty, and getting their product out there 100%. Heidi, I love this. Morphe made a whole host of beauty YouTubers feel special, hence why they were pushing their products. A lot of them were doing that. I feel like that was 2016, 2017, not sure. Yeah, excuse me. And that really leads us into like PR and stuff too, where Morphe sent out a lot of PR to smaller influencers, which made those influencers feel special as well. ABH, same thing, where ABH did that whole search for influencers and sent out all that PR, eventually cut almost everybody off, but and without any notice. Can you imagine being so excited to be like, yeah, I got an ABH PR, and like freaking out? They should not have, like, why didn't they just say, we're going to send you a gift of all of our products or whatever? Because a lot of them got those huge packages or whatever, and just make it, don't say you're on PR if you don't intend to keep people on PR. That's just rude. That's just, it's just rude. But, you know, ABH makes a lot of questionable decisions. So, you know, in my opinion, but yeah, Morphe made a whole host of beauty YouTubers. Influencers made Morphe, period. Influencers made Morphe. Morphe would not have grown to where they were specifically if it wasn't for influencers pushing their codes. But that was also, I think, the quote unquote downfall of Morphe, where I don't think Morphe, from my outside perspective, is doing as well as they once did, because the influencers that they invested in as their top influencers made some questionable choices, and some outright terrible choices. And they were then associated with those people and had to cut off some people. And then it's like, that's tainted forever. So that's the cost of investing in influencers as your brand identity, as it being your whole thing. And I really feel like Morphe was the big brand that did that. I can't think of any more off the top of my head. You'll have to tell me if you think of any other brands that truly built their brand on the backs of influencers. Like brands like Too Faced used influencers, brands like Tarte, brands like Smashbox used influencers as faces for certain products or whatever. But I don't think they built their entire brands off of influencers the way that Morphe did. And did Morphe even do brand trips? I can't remember. Oh no, I never once got a single thing from Morphe in PR except for through like BoxyCharm or something like that when I was getting BoxyCharm PR. Never once. I don't think that people at Morphe liked me for very good reason. Morphe really liked people that liked their products, and I didn't do that. I didn't. I did not like their products. I mean, why would they send it to me? Why would Morphe send me product when they know for a fact I don't like it? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. And whenever they got up to their shenanigans, I called it out. So I'm not surprised I never got a single bit of Morphe PR. And I didn't want it, to be honest. I didn't want it because a lot of it was not good. I know Morphe has come out with some good products in the past, but pass for me. All right, so I'm way behind. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down quite a bit because I want to get to the most recent parts of the conversation. So I scroll down, scroll up. So I'm about 3 minutes behind right now. Hi, Tracy. Tracy says, I think brands are trying to slowly do trips again. I think they are too. Lancome did a brand trip last month. YouTuber Alias Faze vlogged it. Nice. And I think that, okay, so this leads me into my next part, is that how brand trips have changed and how I think they're going to change. I think that overall, they're going to be a bit smaller and they're not going to be YouTube based. They're absolutely 100% not going to be YouTube based. If you have a big platform on TikTok, that is where those are the people that are going to be invited, are the people that are on TikTok and that have big followings on TikTok. Secondly, to Instagram. I feel like Instagram still has a big beauty space. I feel like YouTube, if you have a YouTube, that's just a bonus. I feel like the influencer space on YouTube just isn't as powerful as it used to be. And I think that Instagram and TikTok are the way that brands are selling things. There's also better tracking from those sites too. As far as like the link in bio stuff, there's better tracking of sales from there sometimes than there is from YouTube. There are, of course, affiliate links you can use in your description box on YouTube, but I feel like it seems like the links that are coming from Instagram and TikTok are more powerful. And it seems like brands are really investing more in those spaces and kind of abandoning YouTube as far as who is the influencer that has the most influence. I think that YouTube is outdated for that overall. But I really do think that the biggest influence is on TikTok. And when you invite TikTok influencers, I feel like TikTok influencers are a whole different vibe. It's kind of like, okay, so when you have a YouTuber that ends up making a television show, the television show usually doesn't do well. It may do well in the beginning, but in the end, it usually crashes and burns, right? So when you take a YouTuber, somebody that's really good on YouTube, and you try to translate them to TikTok, it doesn't always work. It's a different medium. It's taking a painter and having them do, charcoal. Like it's a different medium. Yeah, they could be good at it, but it's not their specialty. It's a different technique. It's a different way of doing things. You still have the eye for the art of it or the comedy or whatever it is. But because the audience is so different and the format is so different, it's really hard for someone that's used to doing YouTube in long form video format to just make the switch over to TikTok and be successful. And that's why I think we're seeing so many new people over on TikTok. And these new people were never in the YouTube space. So they don't know what we've gone through. They don't know what's happened in the YouTube space. So they're repeating the same journey. It's like through the generations, you see people making the same mistakes that you did as you get older. You see the newer generations making the same mistakes or not using the lessons of the past and making those same mistakes, or going through the same journey. I imagine myself sitting, 85 years old in my rocking chair and being these kids today because I am going to be that grandma. I am going to be that grandma in my rocking chair, like being like, dude. And that's the way I kind of feel like when I look at some of the things that are happening on TikTok. I feel like that grandma, like, we're really doing this. We're doing this again. Like, okay, all right, we're doing this again. Like, didn't Huda Katan put, KY jelly or whatever on her face or whatever she did, Monistat? Like, we've done that. We've been there. So what I'm saying, as far as looping back to what Tracy's saying, is that I think that yes, there will still be brand trips, but it's not going to be the same because it's going to be targeting different people who create in a different way. And it's going to be different because of that. So that's my perspective on it. Thank you, Tracy. Kelsey, I also find it ugly when beauty content creators start crossing over into hyper luxury items like perfumes and handbags. Keep your $3,000 purses to yourself. I unsub from Morgan Turner for this. Oh no, I like Morgan Turner. I didn't even know. Like, I'm only subscribed to Morgan Turner on TikTok, and I love her TikTok. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like everybody kind of has their threshold for bougie bragging. Everybody has their threshold. And for me, this is just me and my perspective. I don't care. Like, I honestly, I have zero desire to buy a $3,000 handbag. Zero desire. Like, one time, what did I get? Okay, this is weird. Okay, so I got a Marc Jacobs. This is even luxury, right? Marc Jacobs is like, Coach level. It's a nice bag. I got this Marc Jacobs crossbody years and years and years ago from Haute Look. Do you remember Haute Look? So Haute Look used to have, now it's a Nordstrom company, but it was basically a place where brands could go on, have deep sales on products or whatever, and you could buy them. But eventually it became through Nordstrom. So when you referred people to Haute Look and people set up an account, you get a credit. You get a $20 credit for every person that you referred. And I used to talk about Haute Look a lot because I shopped there a lot. I used to buy a lot of stuff. So I ended up getting this Marc Jacobs gray crossbody for free. It was like $160 or something. And I got it for free because I had so much credit from referring people over to Haute Look. I still use that bag as my only bag because I freaking love that bag. It's really soft. It's the perfect size for me. It's falling apart almost. Like there's like a rubber stamp thing on the front, and it's got all these like marks on it from where, just wear and tear. I mean, it's overall it's fine. Like it has a chain thing that has like a rubberized texture to it that like some of that's rubbing off. But overall, it's still a very functional bag. Like the inside is still good and everything. Still freaking use that bag. Have no desire to spend $160 on another. Like that's just ridiculous to me. Like, why would I do that? That makes no freaking sense to me. But I get why people want it. That being said, I get why people want it. So when I see someone bragging about their $3,000 purse or their Manolo Blahniks or whatever, I don't care. I have zero, like, okay, cool. Like, I'm glad you're getting something that brings you joy. Like, that's cool. That's awesome. But I can see the other side of it, like Kelsey's saying, where, you're going on a brand trip, they've gifted you a, Chanel bag, or they've gifted you a Tiffany bracelet or whatever. And you're just like FOMOing all over the place. And it feels very braggy, and it just turns you off. And I get that. I get that totally. There's a lot of people that feel that way. That's just not me, but that's okay. That's what makes the world go round, is we have different opinions and we have different feelings about things. Georgia Peach cooks and creates. I love that. My question for these brand trips, are they hurting and need the financial boost through these big influencers? Or are they actually celebrating these influencers for continuous push of their brand? I don't think it's about hurting. I think it's about a marketing technique. I think it's like any other marketing technique that you have your budget for your marketing, for your promotion, and you just use that as part of your budget. I don't think it's necessarily about hurting. It's about putting your marketing budget towards something you think is beneficial for the brand. And I think that the relationship with the influencer from the brand perspective is very using. You're using somebody, you're using a human being, you're using their platform in order to make financial gains for that brand, to keep that blood flowing, to keep that oxygen going through the brand. When you're talking about a person who works for the brand, that works in PR and develops individual relationships with influencers, that's a whole nother thing. That's a human to human connection. But that PR person also may be only friendly with that person because they know that it's the lifeblood of the brand, and that is how they make their own money and how they're going to be able to pay their own bills. So it's in their best interest to be friendly to the influencers, to build them up and hype them up. But some people may be genuine about it and some people might not be. That's going to be up to the individual person. So I don't know if it's about hurting or needing the financial boost. I think that it's just part of this the general way that a brand survives, and if you don't do that kind of stuff, you will be hurting. So if you don't do some kind of promotion, so that's my perspective on it. So I don't know if they're celebrating the influencers. I don't think they care. I don't think they care about celebrating the influencers overall. I think that it's a using relationship. It's a means to an end. That's my opinion. All right. So before I get to Audra's comment, which I see right below, I do want to tell you very quickly what's on my face today. So as I talked about in What's Up in Makeup today, I did get the Too Faced Better Than Chocolate palette. So far, really, really not impressed. Really not impressed. But I have not used that many shades. Today, I used one shade out of this palette because I wanted to do a more cool tone look. I used this green here. And can you see the green over here? No, you can't see it? Me either. Okay. This is what it looks like out of the pan. And that's the swatch. Where's the green? Where did the green go? It's gray. It's a dark gray. But in the pan, it clearly, well, I guess it does look kind of gray. See, in my eyes, it looks green, but when I show it on the camera, it looks gray. Let me look at the swatch here. I can see more green in person than you can see here. The camera is definitely turning it more gray than I see in person. So that's going to skew things for you. What I should do eventually, because I'm leaving for my vacation as soon as we're done here. But at some point I really should put up swatches, like real life, like actual swatches, so you can see what I'm seeing in case you were interested in buying this. But so far, not impressed with this palette. The mattes seem to be better than the shimmery, foily kinds of shades. But I'm gonna bring it with me on my trip, and I'm gonna keep playing with it. I also put on this bronzer. This is in the shade Golden Cocoa. It's like just a new shade of their bronzer. And they do smell like chocolate. I feel like the chocolate scent is a little bit more true to hot chocolate powder than it has been in the past. It smells very nice. I topped that with the Essence Mosaic Blush. This is purchased. All this stuff so far is purchased. Actually, everything today is purchased. I topped it with that. The other eyeshadow that I used that I didn't mention yet was this that I got in my Beautylish Lucky Bag. I love this little freaking palette, man. This palette is so good. If you've been looking to try Viseart, this, again, it's purchased. I'm not on Viseart PR. If you're looking to try some Viseart shadows, look at these Petite Fours because you can get a really cute little look out of this. I just use this shade here. This is one of my favorite shades. Look at the difference in pigmentation. So let me do this one and let me do the Too Faced, the light shade that's in here. So you can see the difference. I'm really going to scrub in here. I mean, it's a different, it feels like it's meant to be a different formula. So I don't know if it's a fair comparison, but like the difference of what we're talking about here. From the Viseart's on the top, Too Faced is on the bottom. Like, it's not even, they're not even in the same category. So, I mean, I don't know if the white is meant to be a topper, but it's definitely not foiled like the Viseart one is. The Viseart one is freaking phenomenal. And I never would have purchased this. I'm really glad I got this in my lucky bag that I bought. I always want to make sure I tell you what I got in PR. I think I said it like too many times this time. And then the last thing is on my lips today. Sometimes I overly repeat myself for emphasis. This is the Patrick Ta She's Independent shade. This is one of my favorite, like, comfortable liquid lipsticks of all time. I freaking love this formula. I really need to buy more of these, but they're kind of expensive. So I like don't buy them, even though I should. I was going to buy some at the Sephora sale this past year because I'm cheap, but I didn't. And now I'm kind of regretting it because I love this formula. It's so wonderful. It's so soft. It feels almost like a Fenty Gloss Bomb, but with more pigmentation. And it doesn't have the same scent as a Fenty Gloss Bomb. It's got like a minty chocolate scent. More minty with like a hint of chocolate. Oh, and it just feels so good. Let me swatch it for you too, just so you can see. It's so freaking pretty. It's just creamy as hell. And it feels so good. Like, what? Wait, stop. I need to, there you go. There it is. It's so freaking creamy. It feels really good. Like it's like a hug on my lips. Love it. All right. So that's what's on my face today. All right. So let us see what the community is saying. Let's talk to my friend Audra. Hi, Audra. Audra says the thing is brand trips aren't just a beauty thing. Yes, they do this in other communities as well, but it isn't received as well in a seemingly female-dominated space. This is an excellent point. We talked about a little bit earlier about it being in the pharmaceutical companies, which is more male-dominated, but you're absolutely right. And I do think that as in a female-dominated space, other females will tend to be more jealous, be more I feel like women specifically tend to be more passive aggressive and like shady and all of that. So, and we're less tolerant of each other, I think, than we are of men. And we've seen that in the beauty space where when men rise to the top of the beauty space, they're given a lot more chances than the women. And I would dare to argue that a lot of people would agree with me on that. I don't think many people would disagree with me that it's been easier for the men to climb to the top than it has been for the women. And especially women of color. I feel like, and men of color too, anybody that's not a white male or a white female has definitely had trouble climbing to the top. Because think about how many people that are not white have been at the top of the beauty space. Not many, very few. Very few, if you think about the collective. And then if you think about the very top, how many people have got to the very top? Most of them are white men, which you wouldn't think in the beauty space. Traditionally, makeup is marketed toward women. So you would think that the women would easily be able to be at the top. So I think that part of it is what Audra's talking about, is that in a female-dominated space, females getting things for free is more frowned upon by other females, in my opinion. I wonder if Audra agrees with me. This is why I need Audra on live. This is why I need to have Audra on live, because Audra is sick smart. All right, we are way behind. Okay. Oh, okay. So Steph is agreeing with what Kelsey said earlier. Agreed. Like these people were one of us before. Don't flaunt your goods and act like you don't know where you came from. Yeah, and I appreciate that perspective, Steph, on that topic of flaunting luxury products. Is that that they started off kind of being the one of us, that we're all down to earth, and we don't have all this excess, and then they get all the excess and then they flaunt it, and it's hard to relate. It's hard to feel like they're one of you when you're trying to, like, when you're paying living paycheck to paycheck or close to paycheck, and then they have all of this extravagant wealth. It's like, how can you understand my life when finances are such a big part of what I deal with daily, of my daily thoughts and my daily struggles, and the things that I do and the choices that I make are based on money and finances, and not being able to do those things. And when that's such a huge part of your life and the stresses and the things that you choose to do, when somebody doesn't have that in common with you, it's really hard to relate, even if you once related to them very, very strongly. So I think brand trips do play into that as well. But thank you, Steph, for contributing that, because I think that that is an excellent, excellent point. Okay, I am way behind again. So I'm going to go down again. Bloop. Okay. Yes. Elizabeth says it's called the glass escalator. Yes. Okay. I'm going to go up even more. So I'm going to go up to like 3 minutes ago. Roya says, I love Sydney. Sydney Grayson. I thought you were talking about Sydney Grace, because they're having their Christmas in July sale. I don't know if the deal that we talked about in What's Up in Makeup with their new palette, they're giving away their new palette for free if you spend $70. I don't know if Mel Thompson's Tiny Marvels is part of that $70 or not. I said it in What's Up in Makeup and I ended up cutting it because I didn't know if it was true. But that was why I clicked on it, because I thought you were talking about Sydney Grace. But I don't know who Sydney Grace is. I will have to look. Oh, maybe it is Sydney Grace. I'm looking forward to the Christmas in July. I didn't read the whole dang thing. We are talking about the same thing, Roya. Yay. Yes, Sydney Grace's Christmas in July sale starting. Yes, I'm excited for them too. They really do make fantastic products. We are talking about the same thing. I'm an idiot. Could I just read the rest of the stinking sentence? Obviously not. Obviously not. Becky, people also get really upset, or at least they were, with the idea of people in the beauty community making money. Yeah. And I've seen that very recently. Someone had shared on Twitter a video of, there was somebody talking about Amazon. I'll link it down below if I remember. I have time to go link it down below, because I have to do like timestamps and all that stuff. But there was somebody that was talking about influencers' relationship with Amazon and Amazon affiliate links, and I think they gave influencers a little too much credit as far as the rise of Amazon. It felt like they were saying that the reason why Amazon is so big is because of influencers. And I didn't necessarily agree with that. I mean, I do think that the Amazon affiliate program did contribute to that, but like, I really felt the vitriol of, pushing, because this is the thing, this is where it's complex with Amazon specifically, is that Amazon treats their workers like crap. My brother-in-law worked for Amazon forever, and he told me what it was like, and it was bad. And he was trying to work his way up, but he ended up leaving Amazon because it's not just a warehouse for products, it's a warehouse for people almost. It's so impersonal, and it's like it's a terrible place. And like, that's why I don't do Amazon videos, is because I know what it's like to work at Amazon, because my brother-in-law has told me. And I trust him 100%, John's brother. And so that's why I don't do Amazon related videos. Every once in a while, I'll mention a product that I purchased on Amazon, but I don't do the dedicated stuff. But I felt like but going back to what you're saying, Becky, I felt like the disgust almost that it seemed like she felt for people who made money off of Amazon affiliate links was almost a little bit excessive in my opinion. It felt like it was a little bit harsh, because it almost felt like it was based in what you're saying, is just people making money off of beauty videos, rather than them making money off of Amazon specifically, but I could have just misinterpreted. I mean, it was a very well done video. I felt like she did a really good job explaining her point of view. And, she was very articulate in what she was trying to say. She explained it super well. So it was just, I wasn't sure if I agreed with her 100% what she was saying, because it did feel like it was that kind of a thing where the people in the beauty community making money was the real problem. But I could be wrong there. I could have just interpreted it wrong because, I don't know her. Like I don't know her as a person. But I appreciated that she put the video out because I'm always interested in hearing other people's point of view. And it did make me think in a little bit of a different way. And I do think there are still people out there that are very anti people making money in the beauty community, just overall in general. And I don't really get that. I don't. And it makes me sad because I feel like, if you're making money and well, I guess that's where her point was, because if you're making money and you're not hurting anyone, then that's one thing. But it's when you're making money and you're supporting a company and supporting the sales of a company that treats their workers so poorly. But it's like, then we have to cut off every brand. I mean, like the crap that Estee Lauder has pulled over the years, the things LVMH, like, I mean, there's like, these big companies, they're big companies for a reason. It's because they are like cutthroat. And they're not always like, don't always make, the best human rights decisions because their job is just to make money, like we talked about earlier. So it's like, if I'm not going to support Amazon because of their human rights things, then what other brands am I cutting out? And what brands are making choices that I don't know about? So it just snowballs. And this is something that I've really, I've talked about for years, is that snowball effect, that where do you cut it off of, well, that's not so bad. And how many brands do you need to cut off? Like it ends up becoming extremely complex. So yeah, Becky, I know it kind of got off a little bit, but thank you for bringing that up because I do think there are people that just don't like it in general, just don't think that it's right. But I feel like if you do it in a more ethical way, in that you're trying to help people to buy things, like you're trying to help people to spend their money wisely, and you're giving good, solid information so people can make educated decisions. If you make money off an affiliate link because you sold a genuinely good product, like why not? If you get a sponsor for a video and they sell a genuinely good product, then why not make money off of it? And I think that a lot of the things when people get upset with an other, they start seeing me, I'm here, and then there's the other. And you separate yourself like almost like you're two different species. That's when we get in really dangerous territory, because that can happen in so many different spaces, and that causes so much problem in our society when we in our brains separate any other human being into an other category. And I think we just as ourselves need to be aware of not doing that for anybody, not ever separating a group of people that we do not know into an other category, unless, okay, this is the one exception, unless what defines that category is something you fundamentally disagree with. So for example, like, white supremacist groups, I can call them an other because I fundamentally disagree with what defines that group. You know what I'm saying? So it gets very complex. I'm getting really heady here. Getting very, very deep. Get out, Jen. Get out of the deep realm. Get out of the deep water. You're treading water. Stop. No, I'm not treading water. I was good, but I don't want to end up in a place where I can like start like going off on tangents that we're not here to talk about. If you ever want to hear anything political, go over to my Twitter. I'm such a loudmouth. So if you ever want to know any of that stuff, it's all over on Twitter. I try to keep it off of YouTube because here we talk about makeup and we're talking about brand trips. But my ADHD makes me go on a path, and sometimes that path gets out of control. So, and I'm very passionate about the things I'm passionate about. So, all right. Yes, exactly, Paul. People do in other brands. And if you weren't here at the very beginning, which is totally fine, if you weren't having, that was what I opened up with, was that this does happen in other industries. So that was my opening. But I mean, not everybody jumps in at the very beginning. So it's totally cool. So if you're just joining, that was absolutely a huge point I made in the beginning of chat. Yeah, just ask, I'll show up. Yay! Live chat with Audra in August. Coming soon. When you get two ADHD people in a chat, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Especially me and Audra. Because we just boop, 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 boop off of each other. Yeah. Yeah. Siri says that's the way it goes, though, with men, though. When they do something women have been doing for years, suddenly it's big bucks. When women do most of the cooking at home for centuries, men get Michelin stars. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I agree. Audra on a live would be legendary. Audra was my last live stream that I did. My last interview I did was with Audra, but I wouldn't want to interview Audra again. I would want to just pick Audra's brain and just hear Audra talk because Audra's amazing. If you do not know, Audra has a channel called Audra at Home. You should go watch it. Steph says I'm a very polarizing individual. Yeah, I think that most people are these days because there are such different opinions about things. All right, I'm way behind. I'm like 10 minutes behind. So let me scroll forward a bit. Yes, Elizabeth said, that's why I love Jen and the collective brain. We're trying not to buy crap. And I love the collective brain too, because I learn a lot about so for example, like when I'm thinking about this palette, right? And we don't have to talk about this. We had 9 minutes. We don't have to talk about brand trips anymore if you don't want to. But like using this palette, like I'm sitting here thinking, is there anybody that's going to love this? Is there anybody that's going to like this? And that's going to be part of my review because the collective brain has taught me that not everybody looks for the things that I look for in products. And people teach me, like, hey, I don't always want a pigmented eyeshadow. Like, I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. And it's like, really? Like, you exist? And people are like, yes, I exist. There's lots of people like me too. And it's like, all right, cool. Well, that's good to know. So I've definitely gotten better at when I review, like trying to think of it from other people's perspectives, because we only see through our own eyes. It's really hard to think about other people's perspectives that we've never met and we don't know exist. How do you think from a perspective that you don't know exists? You can't. So the only way you can is by opening your mind up and listening to people. And that's what the collective brain is all about. It's helping each other. It's not just about helping me. That comment section, my comment section is always rocking with really sick, smart people. So if you have never checked out the comment section of one of my videos, oh, you are missing out. You are missing out on a lot of the goodness of what is happening on my channel. Like the comment section is part of what makes this space amazing. All right, scrolling down again. Yeah, Samantha says, I will buy from an affiliate link if they love the product and it looks great. Yeah, and that's so helpful too, because if you all I can only talk about myself, but if you stopped watching my videos, you stopped clicking on my affiliate links, I would have to get another job. I wouldn't be able to do this anymore. So the only way I can sustain doing this as a full-time job is when you interact with my stuff. So even just watching the video, liking the video, sharing the video, clicking on affiliate links like Samantha's saying, if you're going to, like, that helps me to be able to continue to create content. And if I had to get another job, then I wouldn't be able to do what I do. What's Up in Makeup, we talked about this before. I used to have 13 people help me with What's Up in Makeup from the dawn of What's Up in Makeup until a couple of years ago. So back in the beginning, it was all volunteer based because I wasn't making money. I was still teaching full time. I wasn't making money hardly at all on YouTube. And it was a lot, even doing like working full time and just doing, like, there were times when I was just putting up What's Up in Makeup for the week because I literally could not do a full-time job and YouTube at the same time to the caliber that I wanted to in order to produce the content I wanted to. So if I had to get another job, then the content here would go down significantly. So it's because of your interactions with affiliate links, clicking on when I do a sponsored video, clicking on the link that I provide, that really helps me out a lot, even if you don't end up buying it. Just checking it out and seeing what the brand has to offer. The brand can see how many people clicked on the link. So like the sponsorships are a huge deal, and they help me to be able to continue to do this as a full-time job. And I'm fully prepared if for some reason my channel just can't sustain me as a full-time anymore. I'm fully prepared to get another job. There's plenty of things that I could choose to go into. And I have my marshmallow business that I can expand as well. So I would rather not. I love doing YouTube full time. I'd love to keep doing it. So my point is, anytime you want to support in that way, that's great. I would never, never, never say, just click on my video that you're not interested in. Like, please don't do that. Don't do that. Your time is busy. You got stuff to do. Like, don't do that. But if you want to watch it, it really does help me to continue to create content. Hopefully I articulated that well, because I was kind of all over the place in my brain. So hopefully I did okay explaining that. Yeah, that's interesting. Kat says, I think Amazon sent a bunch of influencers to Mexico a couple of months ago. I would have never thought I would see an Amazon brand trip. One thing I saw too that Amazon's doing is they're doing live streams. I saw X Sparkage, Leisha, over on Amazon doing a live stream. I was just browsing right before Prime Day. I'm just browsing casually. Wouldn't buy anything. A lot of times it's window shopping when I go to Amazon. And I'm just, browsing around, and I go over to their Prime deals that are coming up or whatever. And there's Leisha on my screen. And it's like, I've been in that room. That room she's in, I've been there. I think she's still in the same house as the house that I visited. It looked the same. I don't know. But yeah, I don't talk to Leisha all that often, but we did a collab back when I was doing my road trip. So it was really neat to see them getting more into the influencer space. I didn't know they had done a brand trip either, but yeah, I mean, they do very, very well off influencer marketing. I mean, I can't imagine, like we talked about, Jaclyn Hill did a really very fascinating interview with Insider. It's linked under What's in Makeup today. And she was talking about sales and selling for brands and stuff. And people were talking about in the comments about how she does those Amazon sales videos. And I can't imagine how much money they make off of her affiliate links. Like, it's worth the investment for them to take influencers on trips to create that brand loyalty for that influencer. So it makes sense. Aw, the inner magpie says, need more interviews. Those were awesome. I need to get back into that. I really do, because I really enjoyed them. They just take a lot of planning, and because you have to go with someone else's schedule, and then making sure. And then, I develop questions ahead of time, and I always send those questions over ahead of time, because I never want to catch somebody off guard. I never want to say something and have them be shocked, or say something they didn't mean to say. I'm not in for the gotcha moments. I don't like that. I want people to be happy and excited and comfortable to come on live chat. So they take a little bit of extra prep, but I really need to do more, because I know so many people in the space. Like, I was just talking to Jamie French on IG stories. I sent her a DM yesterday, and she DM'd me back today. It's to have Jamie French. Well, I already interviewed Jamie French. So I guess that would be kind of silly. Samantha March, I haven't interviewed yet. Angelica. And I always want to do this. I'm not going to do it, because I'm sure she's so tired of it. Angie Newqvist, I could probably bring on live stream. That would be fun. That would be interesting, because Angie and I have very different energies. So I'd be curious. I met Angie once, but we didn't get to spend a ton of time together. But I would be curious to see what would happen on a live stream with me and Angie, because we just have, I just feel like we have such different, I don't know. I love her, but I feel like we're very different. So I'd be curious to see what would happen in a conversation, because we're both very strongly opinionated people. I wonder if we would get in heated debates. That might be fun. Happy heated debates, respectful heated debates. That would be interesting. Maybe I'll ask Angie to come on. I think that would be cool. I think she would do it. I don't know if she would, though. Now I'm putting all the pressure on. She comes to live chat. I don't know if she's here. She comes to live chat every once in a while. But you'll have to tell me who else you would want me to interview. I don't know everybody, so I can't just interview anybody. But there are a lot of people I could probably get on live stream. Just because I've been around for a long time. I at least know somebody that knows somebody. But a lot of people are nervous to go on live streams though. So I don't know if they would be willing to do it. April. April says, Jen, I'm grateful for your channel. You try to educate us and are honest with your thoughts. Thank you for being real. You are very, very welcome. I don't know any other way to be. I don't know any other way to be. Like, I would not be able to sleep. Like, the number of times I have not been able to sleep because I like said something wrong, like, or felt like, like if I outright lied about something, I wouldn't be able to sleep. Like, I would feel so bad. Like, if I promoted something and was like, yeah, this is a fantastic eyeshadow palette, you should go buy it, click my affiliate link, and I knew it was trash, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would feel so freaking guilty because all I would think about is the person that like worked, 40 hours that week, and now they can buy one thing and they bought that palette because I said, and now that they've got a piece of crap palette in their hands, like I would feel so freaking bad. I could never. I don't know how people do that, honestly. Cynthia, I didn't review it yet. I've been kind of reviewing it in pieces. So far, not so good. Not so good. I don't think I'm going to do a full review because I'm leaving to go on vacation. So I don't think I'm gonna do a full review because by the time I get back and get the video up, it's gonna be late. But favorites and fails is coming up next. I'm gonna give you some info on that. And when the lipsticks come out, I will definitely buy a couple of lipsticks. I know people are really interested in that. People are really interested in the Too Faced concealer. I'm gonna buy a concealer when that comes out. As soon as I see it, I'll buy it and I'll review it. And if there's anything else you all ever see where you're like, I need to know, like, this is a product I need to know about. I know a lot of other people are interested in it. Like, if it's like some obscure, like indie brand that you're just curious about, chances are I probably won't buy it unless it really calls to me too. But like, if it's like, a mascara from an indie brand, like, and it's like, I'm not interested in it, I probably won't get it. But if it's like a more mainstream launch that you feel like a lot of people would be interested in, like totally. Or if it's an indie brand that people are really excited about into, it's not really indie. Really, indie has nothing to do with it. I don't know why I said indie, because somebody had asked me. That's why somebody had asked me once to review this indie brand that like really looked like they had stock formulas. Like they didn't even look like they looked really not like they've been real creative and made something unique. I was like, I'm not buying all that. That's where that came from in my brain. But indie mainstream doesn't really matter. But if there's something you're real excited about it, my point is leave it in the comments under a video. Doesn't matter which one. And if you think other people will be excited about it too. So, all right. I just noticed what time it is. It's such a bummer. There's so many things. Okay, so I know there are a lot of people have said a bunch of great things that I want to read. I'm going to read them on my vacation. I'm going to read them because I'm leaving now. It's 2 minutes over, so I should go. There's so many good points. I'm like reading these comments. It's like y'all are making good points, and I want to keep talking, but I have to go because we have a long drive ahead of us. So, yeah, thank you for being in live chat. I am taking the week off next week, so no What's Been Makeup next week. No Friday video. No, it's going to be just silent until the following Friday. So the following Friday is today's the 24th. So this Friday, so August 5th. Hopefully will be favorites and fails countdown. What's It Been Makeup on the next Sunday, which is the 7th, and live chat on the 7th will be at 5 p.m. because I have the Olney Farmers Market with Mad Marshmallows. So thank you again so much for being here. Mad love to you. Have a great couple of weeks. Stay safe. If you're out in the heat, make sure you have water with you. Make sure you got your sunscreen. And mad love to you again for the 4th time. And I will